have a second? We have a motion, we have a second. Okay, is there any other discussions? Can us vote, please?
Item 5A, 13 yea, 0 nay.
The motion carries. Next is Helen Rules, Term Harbor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm gonna make a motion that we approve the consent calendar item.
For the motion. We have a second. Any discussion? Let's vote, please.
Item 6A, 13 yea, 0 nay.
Motion carries. Term
Next item, we need to add, to the regular calendar, we need to add, the approval of authorizing resolution for the tax grant. Put that in form of a motion.
It'll be under 8G.
Right.
Yes, sir.
It's off from order.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Do the roll call, please.
Larry Carter,
Yes.
Hubert Davis,
Yes.
Randy DeFord,
Yes.
Rick Eldridge,
Yes.
Stansfield Ford,
Aye.
Jim Goins,
Aye.
Herbert Harville,
Aye.
Joe Huntsman,
Aye.
Joe Jarvis,
Yes.
Howard Shipley,
Yes.
John Smith,
Yes.
Johnny Walker,
Yes.
Taylor Ward.
Yes.
13 yea, 0 nay.
I now make a motion of approval of all the, regular calendar items.
Motion.
Second motion.
A motion, we have a second. Is there any discussion? We'll vote this on the board. So, please.
Item 6B, 13 yea, 0 nay.
All I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir, for your report. Motion carries. We have a motion for the approval of consent calendar.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Motion from Mr. Eldridge. Second, Mr. Carter. Any discussions? Let's vote, please.
Item 7A, 13 yea, 0 nay.
Motion carries. Next up, Finance Committee, Chairman DeBoer.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Item A is approval of the monthly checks, and I'll make that in the form of a motion.
A motion, we have a second. Is there any discussion? Let's vote, please.
Item 8A, 13 yea, 0 nay.
Motion carries. Chairman DeBoer.
Item B is resolution authorizing the grant application for TDEC recycling and convenience center grants. I put that in the form of a motion.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Let's vote, please.
Item 8B, 13 yea, 0 nay.
Motion carries. Chairman DeBoer.
Item 8C is county clerk satellite office property lease agreement. I put that in the form of a motion.
We have a motion. We have a second. Any discussion? Let's vote, please.
Item eight C, 12 yea, 1 nay.
Motion carries. Chairman of the board.
Item 8D is UniFirst Corporation uniform contract, and I'll put that in the form of a motion.
We have a motion, we have a second, any discussion? Give us vote, please.
Item eight D, 13 yea, 0 nay.
Chairman of the board.
Item 8E, bid award for public official bond, put that in the form of a motion.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion? Let's vote, please.
Item eight E, 13 yea, 0 nay.
Chairman of the board.
Item 8F, budget amendments. Item 1 is Fund 101, Health Department for $1,000, and I'll put that in the form of a motion.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion? Let's vote that, please.
Item eight F 1, 13 yea, 0 nay.
Motion carries. Chairman of the board.
Item 8F number 2, Fund 101, Trustee's Office, $3,600. I'll put that in the form of a motion.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion? Let's vote, please.
Item eight F 2, 13 yea, 0 nay.
The motion carries.
Item 8F3, Fund 101, Work Release, Public Safety, $1,111, and I'll put that in the form of a motion.
We have a motion, we have a second. Is there any discussion? Okay, let's vote, please.
Item eight F 3, 13 yea, 0 nay.
Chairman of the board.
Item 8G, approval of authorization resolution for JAG grant, and I'll put that in the form of a motion.
This is off the board then. We have a motion, we have a second. Josh Smith with a second. Call the roll, please.
Larry Carter,
Yes.
Hubert Davis,
Yes.
Randy DeVore,
Yes.
Rick Eldridge,
Yes.
Stansel Ford,
Aye.
Tim Goins,
Aye.
Herbert Harville, Joe Huntston,
Yes.
Joe Jarvis,
Yes.
Howard Shipley,
Yes.
John Smith,
Yes.
Johnny Walker,
Yes.
Taylor Ward.
Yes.
13 yea, 0 nay.
That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you for your report. Next is public service. Chairman Davis.
On the motion that I have is to rescind our action from June 2017, authorizing Jesse to represent Hamilton County in an opioid lawsuit, and that this time allow the county mayor and county attorney to monitor the case and report back to the commission as necessary. I put that in the form of a motion.
We have a motion. We have a second. Have any discussion?
Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to ask Mr. Jesse, if you would please, sir, come to the podium. I'd like to ask you a couple of questions.
Yes.
How are you today?
I'm good.
Uh,
Mr. Ford said the sun comes up in the morning, goes down in the afternoon.
Could you tell me the first time that you ever approached our body, the day?
First time I appeared
In front
to
of
talk to anybody in Hamlin County was I appeared last year with Mr. Britton and Mr. Capps in Mr. Britton's office, my wife and I. Then we were invited to a committee meeting that ultimately led to a meeting here. I don't remember the exact days. I got it. It's been
It's been a while, right?
Yes, it was last year.
June or July the seventh.
Yeah, it was last, before you voted to approve our contract.
That was a unanimous vote, best I
It
can
was.
remember. But, we had another meeting with our attorney where there was an issue with conflict of interest with a, individual that your firm was representing against the sheriff's department, Hamilton County Sheriff's Department. And, that was brought to our attention. And, after that meeting, we still came back where we needed to go with your firm to represent us in an opioid suit.
Yes, sir.
And the issue of one of my questions is, did you disclose the information to the county attorney and the mayor that you were representing a client against the sheriff's department before you ever came to us?
The very first meeting I had with him, I said I had one case left with Hamilton County, which is a jail case. I shook hands with the sheriff at the committee meeting after that. And he knew I was in the case. I told them both, and I said, "You want me out right now?" And they said they would look at it and get back to me. I, in fact, went to mediation with Mr. Capps there. And then some 3 weeks after mediation, he called and said, "We want you out now." And he's commented that his mind was I didn't get out fast enough. But the whole problem was I couldn't just abandon this man to not have an attorney. And we got to take care of him, got rid of him.
What do you mean when you said he wants you out? What do you mean by that?
He wanted me to withdraw from the other man's case, and I said, "I told you at the very first day I would. I just have to get out. I can't just call up and quit without adequately protecting my client," which I did. And the case actually was settled by your insurance company and ended. We've had this complaint for you all, for the opioid cases, since, June, August, September. I've come to another meeting here that they wanted to know the status of where the lawsuit was for the other counties in Tennessee and all that, reported to that. Send Mr. Capps reports. We have got a stack of questions that the judge at the federal level that has the management of this case is expecting each county to file with the court by the end of September. We've got those prepared for the other counties we represent, are preparing them. Some are done, some aren't. We've waited on yours because we have not filed a complaint. And I've never begged for work, don't advertise, don't want to represent somebody if they don't want me to represent them. I have had a very nice conversation with Attorney General Armstrong in Greene County the last time. I wasn't at this closed meeting. Something was said that he didn't say anything about there is no conflict between our lawsuit and his, and one of the commissioners said something about lottery tickets. It's recorded. Some of y'all have called and asked for it, and I've sent you a copy of the recording.
We were actually told, sir, that you did not disclose that information.
Well, you can look at the letters. I've got letters talking about the conflict. Mr. Capps, if he said that, he said that. I've got letters. And I was surprised.
He did tell us that you didn't disclose that information.
Well, I disclosed it the very first day. The very first day I ever met.
Okay.
And
Thank you. How long have you been practicing law?
42 years.
42 years.
And one of the things I would encourage you all, you have a lawsuit with Mr. Armstrong. It does not include the causes of action that are in the national case. There is no case pending now for Hamilton County in the national case, because I have not gotten authorization. Mr. Britton had to authorize us to file it. That's why we don't file it until we get authorization. But I would encourage you to look at that, because there are statute of limitation issues that are already been raised in this case. You understand that next August there's already 5 cases set for trial.
Opioid case.
Opioid cases that the judge, federal court is getting ready. I've been coming to Hamlin County since I've been about that tall. Red Jesse was my uncle. Dick's my first cousin. He's the rich, good-looking one in the family. I was pleased to be able to represent you all. If Mr. Capps misunderstood me, then I'll apologize, but he was at the mediation with me, and he knew I had that one conflict. I've got 7 cases laying on my desk right now that I have told him in a letter I will not file against Hamlin County if I'm going to represent you. But I got a contract with you all that I keep sending a letter saying, do you want me to file the lawsuit or not? So if you would rather get somebody else, there is no hard feelings. We either need to send a letter to each other and say, I'm no longer obligated on my contract, so I can go and do my job, or let us go ahead and get it filed.
My question is, you came to us over a year ago. You got a unanimous vote for us to take him on and to retain you as our, there was no contract signed, but we took a vote. The commission did, to retain you as our attorney. And we've had not 1, 2, but 3 meetings. The last meeting that we had, the district attorney was there, and 2 other
I wasn't invited.
attorneys, and you weren't there. And and for my part, I don't think that's fair. You should be allowed to at least state your case again. And the district attorney's idea is such a good idea. Why didn't you bring it to us over a year ago? Why did it take a year?
What Mr. Armstrong and what Mr. Armstrong and his clients want to do is his business. I appeared in their case in Sullivan County. They've changed their complaint a number of times. As I've explained, Greene County was nice enough to have a meeting and have Mr. Armstrong there with me. We have a federal RICO action in our complaint. They can't bring that in state court. I suggested that I didn't think that everybody in these cases have good intentions. They want to fix this mess. If you got up and read the paper today, the death rate went up. As the federal judge says, when the defendant said, why are we in such a hurry? The federal judge said there's 150 people dying every day. That's enough of a hurry. So everybody has good intentions. Everybody has different opinions. In particular, I raised the issue of being concerned about the attorney generals because there's not ever been a lawsuit brought like that. So did the state attorney general. He intervened in that case and said, I don't think they can do it, and they reached an agreement as to who's going to do what. And the state attorney general went out and filed his own case in Knox County. So, you're not a part of the Knox County case. I don't know how you're a part of the DA's cases because I told you I was worried about the fact they didn't come ask you if you want to be in it. They filed it and told you you were in it. And I just respectfully don't think the law of Tennessee, the Tennessee Constitution allows it. I hope it does, because as Mr. Armstrong said with me sitting there, and I've got to record it, it's like having 2 lottery tickets. But I do know that you cannot participate in the federal case if you don't have a complaint. It is not a class action. And that's where it becomes confusing. In the tobacco cases, it was a class action, so that they could settle and divide the pie among each state's attorney general. These are individual lawsuits. I don't think Mr.
We know that.
I don't think Mr. Armstrong.
Hang on. We know the case, we know your position, we know everybody else's position. We sit here and talk about this to the law. Johnny, is there, you said you had a question. Is there another question?
I just want to tell him that when we took a vote, for my part, when I make up my mind, I don't want to, I think that you haven't done anything wrong that I said.
We're getting ready to vote on that. I'm about your, whatever we're about.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. Any more discussion? Okay, let's vote, please.
Item 9A, 8 yea, 5 nay.
Motion carries.
That's all I have.
Thank you, sir. Next up, Building and Grounds, Chairman Eldridge.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have before you a memorandum of understanding between Hamlin County government and the Colonel Robert McFarland chapter of the Sons of the Revolution. This is dealing with flagpoles on the courthouse lawn. And I would put that in the form of a motion, Mr. Chairman.
Second tomorrow.
Ms. Osborne, we have a motion. Chairman Ford seconded that motion. She's going to call the roll, please.
Larry Carter,
Yes.
Hubert Davis,
Yes.
Randy DeVore,
Yes.
Rick Eldridge,
Yes.
Stansel Ford,
Aye.
Tim Goins,
Aye.
Herbert Harville,
Aye.
Joe Huntsman,
Yes.
Joe Jarvis,
Yes.
Howard Shipley,
Yes.
John Smith,
Yes.
Johnny Walker,
Yes.
Taylor Ward.
Yeah.
13 yeas, 0 nays.
That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir. The motion carries. Next is public comment. Would anyone like to address the commission? Seeing none, our announcements. September committee meetings, September 10th, 11:30 at the Health Department. County Commission meeting, September 20th, here in the main courtroom at 5 o'clock. And if nobody has anything else, we are adjourned. Just a second. Sandy, hold on. We're having a reception afterwards. I need everybody to clean out the way over and just set this up, please. So we can get that done very quickly.